almost every day for lunch, I have a turkey and cheese sandwich with nothing else on it. When you're in your writing mode, I'm not thinking about food when I should be.
I'm Dalia Colon, and this is The Zest. Citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. The Zest celebrates cuisine and community in the Sunshine State. Today, why writer Carl Hiaasen eats the same lunch every single day. The writer Carl Hiaasen is best known for his satirical crime novels set in Florida. His 1993 novel Strip Teasewas, you may have heard of it, was adapted into a movie starring Demi Moore. And the Apple TV Plus series Bad Monkey is based on his 2024 book of the same name. Now, Carl, I'm going to call him Carl because I feel like we're tight now. You'll see how friendly he is in a couple minutes. Carl has written dozens of books for both adults and young readers. His latest is Vero Beach. It involves, quote, dark money and even darker motives, as the description on his website reads. Carl's number one motive during the workday is to write, even if that means eating the same lunch on repeat to help put himself in the writing zone. I get that, and maybe you're one of those people who eats the same breakfast or lunch every day too, so no judgment. The South Florida native caught up with me from his home in Vero Beach. In this conversation, he discusses the role food plays in his books and in his writing practice.
My name is Carl Hiaasen, and I'm a novelist in South Florida. And most of my career, I worked in newspapers at the Miami Herald and did these books of mine on the side, and now I'm fully retired from the Herald, so I can just really get anxiety ridden about the novels now.
Love that. I worked at the Tampa Bay Times for a long time too. I'm also anxiety ridden.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, congratulations on the new novel. Can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Well, yeah, it's called Vero Beach, and it's set, of course, in South Florida, post January 6th, and it's the two main, I guess, villains, whatever you call them, are sort of aspiring white supremacists. They've been kicked out. One of them was kicked out of the Oath Keepers. Florida was the main jumping off for a lot of these groups. The Proud Boys started in Miami, of all places. So I kind of worked that into the idea of these are guys that aren't even good enough to make the cut at the Proud Boys. And so you kind of know what you're dealing with here is, not high voltage IQ, but they decide to start their own group. And their first big mission is to not fix a whole election, just to fix one tiny precinct up at the Panhandle. There's a sleazy congressman involved, and then, it's sort of a reflection of our time. And I just thought, who are these idiots? And then I thought, well, maybe they belong in a novel.
Yeah, let's keep them in a novel. All right, this is a food podcast, so this might be a little bit of a different conversation for you. But What role can food and drink serve in plot or character development, either in Vero Beach or in any of your other books?
Well, usually in my kind of novels, there's alcohol and ingestible substances have some influence over some of the characters, some of the good ones and some of the bad ones. I'm going to say up front, not much of a gourmet myself, but things happen at dinner times in restaurants, or if you're at home, there's anxiety and there's tension. There's a wealthy philanthropist in this novel who likes to eat very well, but he's also, he kind of masks his true self with the philanthropy. So he's not really a nice guy. He's a racist. He's an anti-Semite and all these things. Well, so I had to have a scene with him, lunchtime scene with him choking. And that was an important role food played. But it was choking on a big, an olive, not just a pit. He just inhaled the whole olive out of a martini, and there's enough discomfort that the reader is somewhat satisfied to see him in this position, because he's not a very likable guy.
Okay, we love that for him.
Yeah.
I know your novels are so much fun. If you had to create maybe a Florida noir menu, say your favorite restaurant was having a Carl Hiaasen night and the entire menu was inspired by your novels, talk me through what would be on the menu.
Well, I'll start from the dessert. Key lime pie would have to be, I was born and raised down in South Florida, and so I tried every version of key lime pie that you can have at a restaurant or at home, but I still love it. When I was a kid, we had little key lime trees, and they're much smaller than regular limes, and when they ripen, they're still greenish with a little bit of hue, but they're hard. They're like golf balls almost, but that's crucial to the key lime ingredient. And I'm sure I eat a lot of fish just because where I live and I just grew up. So whatever was on the menu would have to be either, fresh mutton snapper, yellowtail snapper, because there's nothing better than right out of the ocean on the same day. And that would be a good one. And I don't know about vegetables. Now you got me on this, because I think my wife would tell me to make sure I mentioned some kind of vegetable, probably a salad of some kind, again, I like seafood and I love the fresh oysters, but the ones we get in Florida are from Apalachicola Bay that's had some problems with water quality and things like that. And so I wish I was better at planning dinner. I mean, I know that there would have to be, in my case, the one thing about gin is that it goes with everything. So I don't have to pick like a wine. My wife picks the wine, but good old gin is good for the soul.
It's a pretty good meal.
Yeah.
Okay, you brought up sort of the clash between mankind and the environment. Do you think about that much in terms of like food, fishing, and farming? I mean, that's sort of one of the themes of your books, but you're seeing it play out in real life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my books more often have a theme of the overdevelopment in Florida, which is obvious to anybody who lives here, and the threat to the Everglades, which comes not only from the development, but also from certain types of farming, specifically sugarcane farming, the sugar empire that we have here in South Florida. For years and years, pretty much used the Everglades as their toilet bowl, and only through public pressure and a lot of publicity and realizing how important the Everglades watershed is, everybody's trying to clean up their act and at least in theory say they love the Everglades, but that's been a constant theme. I mean, I have friends who are commercial fishing guides. In other words, they're on the water all the time. Well, I lived in the Keys for a while, and I had friends who were pulled stone crab traps and lobster traps. And here in Florida, our lobsters are really sort of more of a crawfish. They don't have claws like the ones up in Maine do, but it's still, they're still incredibly popular. And I've written about the mini season. We have this 2-day mini season before the actual lobster season starts, where any Googan with a car and a spear gun and or a slingshot and a bag can go down and get a certain number of oysters in the Keys, and it's just a rampage every year, and it does incredible amount of damage to the reefs and things, because a lot of people just throw their anchors on the coral, and it's the locals really can't stand the holiday, but there is a frenzy for it, the first 2 days of the mini lobster season. So that when I lived down there, that was very much a part of the fabric of living down there, because you wanted to be as far away from the Keys when that happened as you possibly could.
Do you fish now?
Yeah, I just sport fishing. It's all catch and release, and I mean, unless if I do catch a nice cooperative snapper, he may find his way into the cooler. I love fresh fish, but I mean, I don't load the boat, and I mean, it's just really, if we're doing that, it'll be enough for me and my family, or me and whoever I'm fishing with. I'm not big on just reeling things in to do it. I mean, I fly fish mostly, so it's kind of an esoteric and maddening, twisted way to go at it, because their fish are hard to catch that way. But it's all game fish that you release, and most of the ones that I catch are species that would be protected under Florida law anyway. You couldn't eat them, or you wouldn't want to eat them, so I don't do it for food, but I don't mind going into a fish market and seeing a nice piece of fish and eating it. But I don't eat a lot of beef. Florida produces a ton of beef, a lot.
We do.
Yeah, I think second to Texas, I think we are in terms of cattle acreage, and they produce a lot of it. But I just haven't, and it's not a philosophical thing. I just like fish better.
How do you like it prepared?
I usually get it grilled. I wish I could get it like Jamaican style or blackened, but my stomach, I like it more than my stomach does. So I like it grilled with some lemon and whatever, not piled with stuff, just something, so you can taste the fish. I don't like it when you go to a restaurant and it's smothered with, you really have to get a biochemist in there to figure out what they put on it. I'd just rather see the fish and have it be fresh, and I used to do a lot more, when I like catch fish myself, and I could do that myself, but I haven't done it in years. I've gotten lazy, and I just usually go out and order it somewhere.
Well, that still counts. And you said earlier you're not much of a gourmet, but it sounds like you do have preferences. So if I came to your house for dinner tonight, who would be doing the cooking and what would be on the table?
Oh, my God. That's
Cheetos?
interesting. Well, I don't want to get in trouble here. It would depend on what we were having. Honestly, that isn't a nightly occurrence here, because I'm going to confess something. You're right all day, and you're in this room with four walls, just yourself. And so when I go home, I just like to go out, and it's like one time of the day when my wife and I can be together without the dogs following us around. And so we usually go out. I think she would cook all the time if I said, but sometimes I've just been inside all day, and I get a little stir crazy. And but if she cooks Italian. She's a good cook. It's just that I like to get out of the house. I blame it on myself. It's just it's easy if you're doing novels to never go out.
Yeah.
It's just but not good for the brain. I don't think.
I imagine you have to go out in order to do what you do. You have to observe people, how they speak, and find out what they're interested in. You can't always do that at home.
No, but I also use a lot of. I absorbed a lot all those years working for the newspaper, and you unconsciously file things away. You're out there every day writing. You're out there, and because I know Florida so well, I think you'd be right if I was trying to write a novel that was set in New York City or LA, or even a place like Montana, which I love and visit a lot. I'd have to be out more, because just to learn, just the vibe of the place. But Florida is, I pretty well know. I don't have to do a lot of research, and I do follow. Well, how it is you live here. You follow the news because it's just ludicrous every day. But you want to keep up with the weirdness, and in my case, I'm trying to write and stay ahead of the weirdness with satire. So I don't want to be like a beat or two behind something that's already happened. So I'm constantly doing that. But this is really boring for your show.
No, it's not. I love this. Please.
But writers get in routines. They're pretty peculiar about it. We've all got our habits. So mine is that almost every day for lunch, I have a turkey and cheese sandwich with nothing else on it. And there's a deli like right underneath my office, my work office. So they know me, and it's ready at the same time. It's really boring, but it's a familiar pattern, and I know it's not going to disappoint me. And I'm just, when you're in your writing mode, I'm not thinking about food when I should be, but that's what almost every day. That's what I have. My wife, it drives her sometimes she'll even come by and bring me something else, so I'll eat something else during the day.
I want her to bring you like a pack of mustard or something. It sounds very dry.
No, I will. Okay, they do put mustard on it.
Okay.
For me. Yeah. But here's my drab personality. I like plain old mustard, and all they have is Dijon. So I've given in, and I eat the Dijon mustard on the. I have it on the sandwich. But I just like when I was little, my mom just had a little French's mustard in a tube. You just squirt it on. It's nothing. This is sad that this is where I am right now at my age, that I still think about food that way.
No, I'm totally with you. And I'm going to hold up, our listeners can't see it, but this is the mug that I eat my oatmeal out of every day. Same oatmeal, same mug every day for probably at least 2 years. And before that, it was the same thing in a different mug, but it like puts me in the zone immediately.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I get it. Your brain just goes there. So are you a big snacker? Do you have like a bowl of nuts or a certain coffee or anything like that you're munching on while you're working?
This is also appalling. I don't drink coffee. I never have been able to. But the one thing I drink all day when I'm writing is they make this unsweetened iced tea, pure tea, no calories, nothing but pure tea. But it's cold, so I have a little refrigerator in the office, and I pound that all day. So by the end of the day, I'm wired to the gills because it's just like pure caffeine. I mean,
oh boy.
I mean, it's like that kind of caffeine. But if I don't drink coffee, that's my go-to. That's all I will have during the day. And when I get home, I snack probably more than I should. Because that's my first exposure to anything tasty and beyond this, my sandwich, so we have fruit, obviously oranges and that kind of stuff, the healthy stuff. And then I'll find wherever there's chocolate, I'll find it. I will find it. Yes.
And I will take it from you.
Yeah. For a while, my wife, I begged her to hide it from me. And she was able to do that for a while. And I got all the hiding places. Now she just throws a bag on the counter and says, it's between you and your willpower, but I can't play any more of this game. But
what's your favorite?
Oh, God. The other day, she got a bag of Kit Kats. Kit Kat chocolate bars.
I feel like you're being too hard on yourself.
Oh, I know. They're so good. And Reese's,
Because here's my thing. I'm going to eat it anyway, so I might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, but see, that's kind of the point. I mean, the time you can really go nuts is if you like to go to the doctor for your regular checkup and you get a good checkup, your blood's low, your glucose is fine, your triglycerides are fine. Where's the chocolate? I come home. Yeah, I'm clean. It's like I'm out of rehab. I'm clean. Now just one little taste, I'll be good. That's it.
Okay. You're not working at home. Your office is outside of your house. Is that correct?
I have an office in the house, but I work mostly at the office downtown. Yeah. I have to physically leave. It's part of the routine we've been talking about. It's like, I know when I get in the car and go there, that there's really nothing else in this office. It's just all the book stuff for the novels and all the files, like they pile up when I was writing Vero Beach, all your notes and everything. That all stays in that office. But that's when the routine kicks in terms of where's my pure leaf tea, where's my, turkey sandwich.
A dry turkey sandwich.
Yeah. Well, it's not, I mean, you did a little bit of mustard, but that's all I'll do there. But then I'll know. So when I'm tired or whenever I knock off the day, I know, and I get home, I can prowl around and find something,
Yes. So do you have like a word count for the day or a page count for the day? And
that's a good question.
Is food, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're kind of your own taskmaster with your turkey sandwich and your tea. And then once you're done with the writing, you go home and food is maybe a reward? That might be it. Or I might also just be neurotic. That I've got to be doing something. It could be, but I like your theory better that I'm rewarding myself. But some days I really don't write enough to deserve a reward. I mean, it's like, this, you have up days, you have days where you think you're pretty productive. You had a couple good ideas and you got them on paper. There's other days when you're spinning your wheels, you're lucky to grind out a couple of sentences and you're writing notes. Those days I really feel like I haven't earned anything, but I still go ahead and
snack. It's not I don't have a word count or a page count, and I've never done that in my life. I admire writers that some of them get up very early with, a pot of coffee, and they're going to write for 3 hours, and then, they're going to get their kids off to school. They're doing all this stuff. And for me, it's much more of a instinctive thing. Like, if I know it's not going well, I'm not going to sit there and beat a dead horse for 3 hours. If it's not working, I got to step back. Whereas if it's going well, I can stay longer and I can write until I'm too tired to write anymore. But it's not the same every day. Each day is different.
Yeah, that's good. And that's a good word of wisdom for all of us. Somebody told me, not only should we not compare ourselves to other people, but we shouldn't compare ourselves to past versions of ourselves, because that's almost a different person. So if Carl yesterday could write 20,000 words and Carl today can only write 500 words, that's okay. Yesterday was different, Yeah,
and for so many years, I was doing 2 jobs at the newspaper and when I first started writing the books, I was on the investigations team at the Herald, and then I'd been on the Sunday magazine. So, you do a lot of writing during the day, if you're writing on deadline and things like that. And then at night you recalibrate for this other project. And you have to empty your brain out of everything you're doing today. I was obviously much, much younger then, and I could do it. I don't know if I could do it as well now. And for first time, I've been able to focus completely on the books, which has been a kind of a luxury. But even then, there's things that distract you. I gotta get a root canal. Well, that day isn't going to be a good day of writing. It's not going to be a good day of anything.
No,
it's just going to be pain and whining. I'll just do a lot of whining.
That's fair. What do you love about being a writer in Florida as opposed to, like you said, Montana or Michigan? What about being a Florida writer brings you joy?
Well, I have the privilege of writing about a place where I was born and a place that I care about. And I think that's pretty important. I know writers that have lived several that have been able to write about the different places they've lived. And but for me, this is, it's my home. And some days you hate it, some days you love it. What's happening here is pretty appalling right now. And satire, like I said, always... I think good satire comes from a deep place of anger and sense of injustice, because you have a target. Satire has a target. In my case, it's not meant to be gentle. It's not meant to be a nudge. And that's the way I wrote my newspaper column for years too. It's a good release. It helps if you really care about the place. And in my case, I want something to be left for my grandkids to see. My granddaughter's down in the Keys. She's a part of a research project there. She dives almost every day there. It's a research project involving the coral, which are dying in the Keys, the bleaching. And it's a very cool project. She's been doing it for about a year. And she got out of school about 2 years ago. But every day she's down there. They're transporting these cool little crabs that are native to South Florida, but they're usually inland, and they take them out to a reef and they clean the reef. They clean the algae off the reef and everything. So the idea that she has the same affection for Florida, and her goal is to, be the marine biologist, do all this stuff because she's so connected to nature. So that's pretty cool. I was worried that the kids, there wouldn't be enough of it left for them to see by the time they got old, but they find a way.
That's beautiful. Is there anything else we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
No, this is fun for me. It's a nice change. It's made me hungry, though.
Me too. Welcome to my world. Thank you, Carl. This was such a treat. Carl Hiaasen is the author of dozens of books, and he's an even more prolific turkey sandwich eater. You can find a link to his website, which has information about all of his books. You can find that in the show notes of this episode or on our website, thezestpodcast.com. I'm Dalia Colon. I produce The Zest with Andrew Lucas and Alexandria Ebron. The Zest is a production of WUSF, copyright 2025, part of the NPR network.